problem with this Charlie Kirk situation, folks, what I see is a dangerous situation that we're turning this dude into a martyr, idol worshiping. And the political side is going to use this as a tool because they know how weak humanity is when it comes to people who you deem a leader. Okay? That's the problem that I see. And people getting besides themselves with information that's being brought to the forefront because of whatever way you feel. You cannot allow yourself to fall into idol worship of this cat. Yes, it was terrible. Again, air quotes, if it was true. Okay? Because that's the part that becomes unnerving. It's like none of this makes sense. The way things went down. That's why I know it's manufactured. Because if it was open and honest, something that happened organically and not manufactured, we wouldn't have all these holes and theories, folks. That's just plain and simple. You know, it ain't nothing for nobody to be getting all touchy about. When things don't add up, okay, that ring he got on his finger, that don't look like his wedding ring to me. I've seen other pictures where he has a black band on his finger. Not to say he couldn't have switched up and got something else, but respectfully, that don't look like a ring that you would wear as a wedding ring. Respectfully, okay? Not a hinge ring, and it looks like some kind of ring from Harry Potter, okay? That ain't mathing, folks. That's my point. Ain't none of this mathing. And so, if God gave us his spirits to search all things and to know all things, even the deep things in God, again, you got the spiritual right to look and discern. Now they're calling the shooter a Republican, and all these nasty, ignorant folks that I work with talking about, it wasn't one of us. Charlie Kirk leaned to the left a little bit, didn't he? I'm like, you know, it took all I had not to go off. And I didn't support the dude like I didn't know him, you know, but I never followed him. But as a human being, and if this was a really manufactured incident and they used this to garner and to bring about false worship like they did George Floyd and put him in a casket, as soon as I saw them take that casket off the plane, I was like, here we go. Here we go. We're going to get the right and the left going at each other. Civil war is coming. All because of this incident. Okay? And to see it online, but to see people in your face, not laughing at me, but just laughing. Well, it wasn't one of us. Ha, ha, ha. They thought it was a Democrat that did it. Ha, ha, ha. It was one of them. But his family said he was the only lefty in the family. And his dad turned him in. So this is the dangerous part. This is what brings about civil war. This is what brings bricks sat out on corners. Narratives being, and now all the lefties are being fired from their television stations and rows because they've been caught. Feds knocking at doors because they followed your IP address, dum-dum. Facial recognition. It could be used for the bad, but now it's being used to gather up the tares, isn't it? So listen, folks, just be mindful of your emotions during this time. Don't put yourself in a situation where you groveling. You know, it's like when Tupac died. And that's what I feel like this is. All eyes on me. His Machiavelli situation. People all out in the street. Pac gone, Pac gone. What did he do? It was so special. He made some records. What? This idolization of human beings. And ain't nobody out here crying for Christ like that. You march down the street for Trump. You march down the street for Biden and Kamala Harris. But when it comes to God, everybody get quiet, or they want to poke fun, or they want to ridicule. But ain't nobody hollering for Christ like that. That's the problem that I'm having. That's where the idol worship comes in at. You worship this guy. Yeah, he said he was a believer. My son said he was spreading the word of God. But he also was lukewarm to me. Like, I'm not judging the dude, but I'm just saying, if you support the Mormons and there's things that you saying out of your mouth that don't line up, it's like a Laodicean church, lukewarm. And I think the guy knew something, probably, just like they did Paul Walker. Paul Walker was trying to get out of the Skull and Bones, and he could. And when you join a gang, you get jumped in. The only way you get out the gang is to be killed out. Okay? And you got pictures of this cat with Candace Owens and everybody else, and him and himself throwing up them sixes. Some fool said, oh, well, you was doing it in your video. I said I had my hands clapped and I was wiping my mouth. See, stop looking for excuses. A lot of y'all just looking for excuses because you stuck in the matrix and you don't believe that you're being programmed, that you're being duped. You got a lasso around your neck and a bit in your mouth like a horse because you're too sensitive. You should not be sensitive for nothing in this world like that, to where you losing your common sense because people pointing obvious things out about this cat. Well, those were pictures from 2020. I don't care when they were from, when he was throwing up them pyramids, them Jay-Z signs, the Beyonce signs. I don't care what it was. You publicly made your allegiance when you threw up them signs. And the only way out is death. That's the only way you get out. Now, did he know something? And they had to put this dude up as a martyr. I mean, not as a Lee Harvey Oswald cat, because there's other video coming out. There's a guy running around with a handgun after the shooting. Could he have been security? Could he have had his own gun? Do they have CCW laws in Utah? Probably. But it's everything comes out always after the fact. You start noticing things, okay? And this is what I'm noticing. People losing it. This is how the Civil War is going to start. The idolatry, the idol worship. Yes, it's sad that this happened. But you don't slobber and tear over this dude like his name is Jesus Christ. And you don't even do that for Christ. That's the problem I have with this. Just like Trump. You marching for this dude. You say, go, God bless the country. But these cue ball idiots. Programming, folks. People are being programmed and you don't even realize you're being programmed. Let's wake up, folks. Peace.